Hey, Anne-Marie Triolo coming to you from Triolo Realty Group, and I wanted to talk to my buyers that are out there, my buyers that are frustrated with these interest rates that have hiked up over the last couple of months and are getting really discouraged, thinking they're not going to be able to buy a home, or my sellers that are considering, purchasing a new home that are frustrated about the interest rates. So I wanted to approach this where I wanted you guys to understand you have to start thinking strategically, okay? Especially my first-time home buyers. I don't want you to get discouraged that it's out of reach for you to be able to purchase a home, okay? Because right now, if you're paying rent, you're literally pissing money away month over month. I mean, some of you are spending upwards of anywhere from $12,000 to $24,000 a year, giving it to somebody else. That's money that you could be putting into your own future, your own home, that you're actually giving to somebody else. So on that note, I want you to start thinking a bit strategically, okay? So how do you do that? One, you have to kind of eliminate the idea that you're going to get your dream home on your first shot, okay? Start to have a little bit of a compromise, okay? Put yourself in a position where you're actually gonna own something and build equity to be able to eventually get your dream home. You'll sell that home, you build equity, you'll sell that home, and you'll be able to buy your dream home. It's better than having something that's less than your dream home. It's better than paying rent to somebody else and pissing away money that you're never going to see again, okay? So if you're looking for that single family detached home and the prices compared with the interest rates are going to be out of your reach, what you should be doing is look into a semi-attached home, look into a townhouse, look into something that's a 2-bedroom as opposed to a 3-bedroom. Just think of something when you're looking at a house, you should look at it as an investment, right? You shouldn't look at it as it's just your dream home or something place where you want to live. You also have to look at it from an investment point of view. Am I going to, when I resell this house in 2 years, 3 years, am I going to be able to, at very minimum, get my money back, right? Because you've already built equity by paying your mortgage, right? It's like putting money in the bank. Or, am I going to make more money, which will increase your equity, which will also, increase your down payment on your next house, right? So you have to consider it from that point of view. So compromising is your first aspect. Another aspect that you should be also looking into is playing around with your mortgage, okay? If you are adamant about having a 20% down because you don't want to pay PMI, that if you're waiting, month over month, the money, think about what you're paying in rent on a monthly basis in order to build up the 20% that you want to put down to knock off PMI. If PMI is like $400 or $500 and but yet you're paying $1,800 in rent, you're actually losing $1,300 a month. So it doesn't really make sense. So don't worry about the 20% down. Get yourself into a position where you could actually buy a house, whether it's 5% down, 3.5% down, 10% down. Don't worry about the PMI because you're actually saving money by actually buying a house as opposed to paying rent, okay? So that's one. Another aspect of it is that maybe change what your down payment is in order to utilize money to buy the interest rate down, right? There's ways of buying 1% of a loan. It fluctuates depending on the market. 1% could be a quarter point, could be a tenth of a point, depending on what it is at the time, right? But have these conversations with your mortgage lender. So, if you're going to put down 5%, maybe instead put down 3.5% and use that other 1.5% to go towards buying down your rate. Yeah, you're going to end up having a bigger mortgage loan, but the balance off is actually really saving you money by buying down that rate. Same thing goes for those who are 20. If you're 20% down and now maybe put 10% down and buy down that interest rate with the other 10%. You could buy down a whole plethora of points with that. So use that money to be able to buy down your interest rate. When it comes to PMI has actually gotten reduced as of March 20th, I believe it was. They reduced the PMI, so that also got offsetted. And another thing is FHA coming May 1st, they're reducing the closing costs on a lot of the FHA loans as well. So that's going to be also a savings on that. The other thing I wanted to add in is seller's concessions. Those are kind of back in the game now. You know, even though it's a seller's market, and when we were going through that aggressive market in, you know, the last couple of years, seller's concessions kind of took a back seat, right? What is a seller's concession? A seller's concession is when you can incorporate your closing costs into your loan, right? The aspect with that is that, like, let's say you're buying a house for $550 and you need, you know, $10,000 seller's concession to go towards your closing costs. You know, on paper they're going to say it's $560, so you'll get that extra $10,000. The only kind of catch-22 with that is that the home actually has to appraise for the amount that you're asking for. So if you're buying a home for $550 and you need that extra $10,000, the house would actually have to appraise for the $560 in order for you to get that money. The reason why we didn't have it over the last couple of years is because the homes were appreciating so quickly that there wasn't that room within appraisals in order to be able to include those sellers' concessions, you know. But now we're having that room again, you know. And it really is an aspect. So what can you do with the seller's concession? It can go towards your closing costs, right? So utilize the money that you would have used for your closing costs into, again, buying down your interest rate. So that's another kind of thing that you can do. So be strategic, right? Compromise, play around with your mortgage and play around with your down payment, play around with trying to buy down those interest rates, play around with seller's concessions. These are all going to be aspects that you can utilize in order to get the home that you want. So don't be discouraged. You just have to be strategic, and I trust me, you will get your dream eventually, okay? May not be that dream house today, but that dream house, set yourself up to be able to get that dream house in 2 to 3 years, and stop throwing money out the window with rent. For my sellers who are interested in selling and who are at a 4% interest rate and they don't want to sell because then they're going to buy and they're going to have a higher interest rate, you've built a lot of equity in your home, okay? Utilize that money. Utilize that money to be able to buy down your interest rate, and you could be exactly where it is that you need to be, okay? And you can go ahead and get that home that you want. Some people want to downsize. Some people want to upsize. You know, you can get it. You just have to be strategic about it, okay? If you want more information, if you want some more guidance, I'm always here at your disposal. Feel free to call me, 917-836-1594, Amory Triolo, Triolo Realty Group. Happy shopping. Peace.